Farmers don't like doing things without a good rationale behind them. There's been a real mindset change in the last 5 years in regards to that. Whether they're health and safety or environmental or social side of things, we want to go beyond regulation, so doing things not for the sake of ticking boxes, but doing them for a real reason. And farmers that are out there practically in the yards every day are also the farmers that can have a very clear view in terms of where farming should go. So incredibly important that we don't just criticise what's happening in the industry, we actually front load it with that involvement. We are Blair and Jane Smith, hill country sheep and beef farmers at Five Forks, north Otago. The two properties that we run, one is a hill country property on the Kakanui range, and the other property we have is a slightly lower rolling property that we run a lot of young stock on and do our finishing on as well. We have a sheep stud, New Haven, established in 1972. We have Fossil Creek Angus, which is a substantial Angus beef stud, and then we have a commercial sheep entity. We're running about 9,000 stock units over 1,300 hectares. Everybody is looking for a slightly different animal for their slightly different climate and their needs, whether they are on hill country, high country or lowlands. I don't think there will ever be a day that everybody needs exactly the same thing. We've got to make sure that we are flexible enough to be able to produce something that on a baseline is very robust but also has got those specific individual requirements. There's nothing more delightful in terms of when you're a stud breeder, seeing that progeny on the ground and seeing the pride that farmers have. Pride and passion are two areas that farmers are so good at, and you can see it and you can feel it in terms of their whole ethos around that. And they are the people that we're aligning ourselves with. We're very involved in the sheep industry and also the beef industry, and also a lot of the new initiatives such as the Red Meat Profit Partnership. But I think probably the most important roles that we have are our local roles, because making a difference locally has such an influence nationally. The best voice is the farmers that are practically involved on farm, and probably the ones that don't make or have the time to go up to Wellington yet. Some of the best discussions that we have are with other farmers around their kitchen table or over their farm gate or in their wool shed.
Pretty good.
There's a saying that Charles Darwin had: it's not the strongest that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most adapted to change. In the farming industry in New Zealand at the moment, change is probably the only constant. And we need to be aware of that and also have enough insight and foresight to make sure that we are ahead of the game, if you like, as New Zealand farmers. Every voice counts, and you need to be involved to understand it and to be part of that decision making, I guess. We want the future generations, not just our children, but anyone's children, to be able to have access to the primary industries. Because if it's not our children that take over this farm one day, we want it to be someone's children that are passionate about what they are doing.